Hello and welcome to Maker Monday on Wednesday. My name is Sandy Roberts and I'm the Makerspace Coordinator for the Warren County Library System. I apologize for the delay in programming this week. I came down with a nasty stomach bug and I'm still recovering, but I didn't want to wait too long to bring you another project. So here we are, technical difficulties and all. But makers, we persevere, right? We come through all those challenges and we keep on going. As they say, maker's gonna make. So welcome today to the Warren County Library System. So I have some fun stuff for us. We are going to do a crayon application to rocks to make kindness rocks. So we're actually going to be melting crayons onto regular old river rocks, usually nice and smooth ones, to create all kinds of different color swirls. And it makes a really beautiful shiny rock. And there's a lot of variation, a lot of different techniques you can do with this. So it gives a lot of room for creativity. And of course you can play with resists and things like that too. So it gives a lot of space to just imagine and experiment and try new things and make some really cool kindness rocks that you can share with others. So why don't we start with what we need today? Supplies are very, very simple. I'll bring it over my tray. We of course need our crayons. I have just regular old store-bought crayons. You'll find certain brands work a little better than others. You want something that has as much pigment as possible. So, I have kind of these inexpensive store brands, some Rose Art. I will be honest, things like Crayola are going to give you the most pigment in your crayon and are going to be your best bet. But you make it work. So whatever you have on hand. And honestly, if you have broken crayons, old bits and pieces of crayons, those are really great to use for this. So that's what you need. You do need some rocks. Like I said, you want to go for kind of smooth. And I like to use rocks that are light colored. But sometimes like this is kind of a nifty, craggly lava rock I'm going to try too, and we'll see what happens with that because I think we might get some really neat effects. But again, it's an experimentation. You don't want anything too rough because you're not going to get a good melt. This process is very similar if you've ever seen it to people that take canvases and glue on crayons and then heat them with a blow dryer so that they melt down. It's a very similar process. So the smoother the surface, the easier it works. You are, of course, going to need something to melt crayons with. So today, I have my phone, by the way. I'm watching for comments or questions. At least I'm trying to. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties today, beyond the health issues. Anyway, this is a craft heat tool, and it's used for like embossing and things like this. I really prefer to use this kind of a tool, but a hair dryer works just as well. It just might be a little slower. And actually, if this is your first time doing a process like this, having that control of like high, low, that sort of thing can be really great. I've also done this process with heat guns made for more industrial use, like heat shrinking packaging or, for people that are doing electronics, that sort of thing. So pretty much anything that will just let you blow some hot air at your crayons is gonna work. The other thing you can do, and this is more dangerous, but for some of my older makers there, you can heat your rocks like on a stove or in an oven and then apply the crayon. So if you don't have a heat gun or a hair dryer, you can do it that way. Of course, you're going to need oven mitts or you're going to need tongs to be able to move those rocks around because you don't want to touch those very, very hot rocks. Last couple of things. You want a surface to work on, so some newspaper. I'm going to use some little paper plates here today. You don't want to get wax all over your surface. And I like to keep a marker around because with these lighter color rocks, you can write your message with your Sharpie first and then place the translucent layers of wax over it and get a really neat effect. But if you try to go in the other direction, anything water-based or alcohol-based is not going to be able to go over the wax. The wax is going to act as a resist, okay? So if you've ever done anything like that, it is a oil-based substance, so water-based and alcohol-based substances aren't going to do well over it. You can use oil-based paint pens on top of your crayon coloration though. So if you have those, give those a shot. But I prefer to just draw with my Sharpie first and then do a light coat of crayon over it. Make sure your rocks are clean, obviously. You don't want to trap dirt in your wax. It's not going to look so great. You may even want to clean them off with a bit of alcohol just to make sure there's no oils or anything on them too before you get started. So that's pretty much all you need for this project. So let's go ahead and get started. And again, just going to give one more try to convince my phone to, nope, it's not going to do it. Just having one of those days. Now, I don't have my normal document camera. That's the reason I was a little hung up today. It does not seem to be working, so we're going to make do with a little bit different viewpoint. I know it's not high resolution, but today we're just going to have to make it work. So I've got some rocks I'm going to bring on over. I'm going to give this a little bit of light, so that might be too much light. Okay. I've got my heat gun ready to go, and I'm going to grab my plates. Okay, so that we can work. Let me make some space here. Oh, can we see? Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's a little tough to see. Maybe I will try that darker rock first today, just because you'll be able to see the process a little bit better. Again, I apologize for the camera. I'm using a very old webcam to do this today, just because it's what I was able to hook up last minute. So we're making it work. We're making it work today. All right, I'm going to grab some of my crayons. And like I said, I'm going to pick some of my kind of better crayons. But, you know, if you don't have those, it's not the end of the world. Whatever you have on hand is going to work. You just may need to add more than a single layer. I'm going to go with some really warm colors here. So I've got like my orange, and I've got yellow. And I'm going to just kind of, like I said, going to experiment. Normally, I do this on, I got a nice red there, kind of a maroon color. So it is, like I said, experimentation to see what's going to work. And that's part of the fun, right? And normally, like I said, I'd use a lighter color rock, but simply because we aren't able, if you want to be able to see it, I'm going to go ahead and remove some of the paper from my crayon. Now, it is a good idea in this situation. I'm going to be putting on my glasses, but wearing safety goggles or glasses is a good idea. It's unlikely that the wax will splatter, but it can. So I am wearing some glasses I just put on. You just want to protect your eyes. You might also want to protect your hands. So if you have some gloves, like leather gloves especially, would be really good for this. So I'm just peeling off a little bit of the paper, just so I have some space to work with. And you know, you're gonna kind of play with the application of the wax. You may find you like to put it flat against the rock. You may find you like to keep it more pointed. I kind of like pointed. I like to heat my rock first and then add my color. And I like to go from my darkest colors to my lightest colors. You may find that a different process works for you. You can also scribble on your rock, and actually maybe I'll see if I can do that with some darker colors over here. I'm going to go ahead and just write on this one and write make, and I know I'm kind of upside down because of the camera situation. So I'm just writing make something. Very simple sentiment there. You can kind of see, wrote on that. Again, sorry for the camera. And then I'm just going to kind of come in and I'm just going to color over it. So I'm going to show you kind of both ways that you can do this. If you're working with kids, you may find that the way I'm doing it right now is your safer bet, okay? Because they can color their rocks and make them look really cool, and then you can do the heating. And you don't have to worry about them getting little fingers near a heat source. So it may be that that is a process that is happier for you, safer for you. And it's also great if you're working with a group of kids. If you are in a camp situation, it means that you can have them all prepare their rocks, and then you can always put them right into the oven once they're colored, or you can just hit them each with a blast of heat working with the kids after they've kind of done their coloring. So it really depends on the situation you're in. And I've done them both ways. So, and you can see I'm laying on the ink pretty thick here because it's going to drip off. Okay, it's not all gonna stay in one place. I think I'll give it a bit, maybe a bit of green here. I like green. These are my favorite colors together. I love purple, green, and blue together, especially that kind of a teal blue. You may have noticed by my hair, I'm very fond of that particular color. So it tends to show up in a lot of my creative projects. I don't really mean to, but it just does. You know, you like what you like, right? And I'm sure there are folks out there that like warmer colors, or, you know, my daughter Katie just loves using shades of gray and black. My daughter Gwen is my rainbow girl. She likes everything to be every color. So it's really just personal preference, what you find to be beautiful. And that's what making is all about, right? Is finding what things really appeal to you and putting them out there into the world and creating with them, because we each have our own unique viewpoint, and that's pretty amazing. So with any given wax substance, they're going to have a melting point, which is the point at which the substance has gotten enough heat that it transforms states from solid to liquid. And that's why I'm using all the same crayons. So I'm using all Crayolas in this case, because I want to make sure, ensure as much as I can, that the melting point of the wax is the same. And if you're using different brands at once, you aren't necessarily going to be sure of that. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Can you see this? Here we go. I'm just going to heat it now. And it will start to get shiny as it melts. And you can see this I'm holding pretty close. It's going to depend on your heat source, how close you need to hold it, how long it's going to take. And you want to kind of keep it moving until that melting starts. And what you will find is that everything will kind of reach that melting point, and then boom, it'll go. And that's okay. That's kind of what you want. Come on. You would think it's hot enough today that this would go quickly. Of course, you want to make sure that you don't end up accidentally burning your wax. That can happen. I suspect maybe my heater is getting kind of old too. Come on, you can do it. This, I think, is one to put in the toaster oven today. One thing about this is you kind of have to wait for the rock itself to heat up, and that can take a little while for that heat to actually build up enough in the rock that it hits the temperature where things start to melt. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just switch to the other process and finish melting this one a little bit later, because it's just going to take some time. Okay. Ooh, and that's hot, so I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to slide it over there. It was just about there. Alright, so the other method, of course, is to take your rock and to heat it first. And where's my dark color? So I'm heating the rock. You can see that color is just melting right on there. So this is a much easier process than the other, obviously. But again, not necessarily as safe for little fingers. Coming in with some yellow, some orange. Turning it around just so I can get to the other side. And you'll see that the air blowing from your heat gun itself is going to kind of move that wax around in all kinds of fun and exciting ways. And you can use that to kind of direct where you want the wax to go, where maybe you want it to build up a little bit more, or maybe spots where you don't want it to mix as much. Like I kind of want to build up some orange over here on this side. So that's what I'm going to do. Just kind of pushing the orange down. I'm just going to take the yellow and I'm just going to kind of melt it right into the red there. Add a little bit of color. Kind of give it a little bit of a marbleized look. Okay. So there we go. And again, I will show it to you under the better camera. But now it's just going to take a little time to cool down. And you really want to give this time to cool. Usually I'll do the top, and then if I really want to do the bottom, I'll come back and do it after this is 100% set, because it will heat up again. So honestly, a lot of times I'll just do a quick coat of acrylic or a marker on the back of it, and I'll just really focus on the front and making that really pretty. So I know that you can't quite see it, but it's got a really nice kind of marbled lava looking effect there. So that dark rock took the light colors really nicely. Let's see if I can try one more. I've got this lighter colored rock here. Let's see if we can give that a shot with my other colors. Just move this so it can dry, it can cool. I keep saying dry, it's not really dry, it's cool. And you can kind of see what I mean about you want plenty of color. You want lots of pigment. So I'm just gonna peel here, get some of this out of the way. So here we go. Just adding that green right to the center. I kind of want this one to be very earthy. And hopefully it's picking up on the camera pretty well. Looks like it. Okay. All right, now I'm going to come in with that teal color that I like. And you can see, you can blend those colors really nicely. Now this rock is a little more craggy than the last one. It's a little less smooth, so you can see it's a little harder to blend those colors. That's okay though. You kind of make it work. I'm just blending in that teal. And this one's melting really nicely. And again, this is the reason that you want to use the same brand for a single rock, because you want the melting temperature of all of your crayons to be very similar if you can. Now, you can see I forgot to pull off the paper here, so I'm just going to switch around to the other side and just kind of keep on going. Trying to get my, you can kind of see what I'm doing there. Just really like that teal. And this one I am going to get the color pretty heavily on here, and then I'm going to really melt it and push the color around after I've got it on. Okay. I'm coming with a little purple right in the center there, just for a little contrast. And now I'm just going to heat that up and kind of push that color around. And this is where it's fun to come in now with a contrast color. So I'm just going to come in, I think, I wish I had a gold, that would be really nice. I'm just going to come in with maybe a little bit of orange. And just kind of add that little bit of marbling again. Make it a little bit different. And again, this is where the creativity comes in. This is where it gets to be fun to create and to, you know, mix colors in ways you might not expect them to mix together. And just a touch. Again, I just can't resist a little bit of yellow today. I don't know, maybe it's because it's such a sunny day. I'm just really digging the yellow. All right, now this one was, you know, and the more you keep it heated, the more those colors are gonna blend. Now this rock was a little more chalky, so it absorbed the color a little more than the other. And that's part of the fun, is you just don't know. You don't necessarily want to use a rock that is, you know, already polished. If you use a polished rock, you're not going to get quite the same results that you might want. Just because a lot of the colors are going to drain off. Though, actually, you might really enjoy that as a look. All right, let's take a look at what we've got. So yeah, if you use a polished rock, more of the paint is going to drip off and you'll get a very translucent look. So it really comes down to how rough the rock is, what you're going to get. And that's again, part of the fun in experimenting. Just put my glasses away there since I'm done with those. So here we go. So this is the one I was just doing. Let's see if you guys can, I'm going to try and hold it as close to the camera as I can. It's not fully cool, so it's very hot. But you can see, kind of got, oh dear, now it's on my hand. But you got the marbling, and sorry I can't show you this close up on my camera, but you got that kind of marbling there. And that one has like a weird hole in it that I didn't really notice until after I started doing this, and that's part of the fun. Here is the red rock. I'm hoping that you can kind of see that. I know this is a little not ideal today, but there's that red one that I did. Neither of these are dry. Now, once they're fully dry, okay, you can go back and you can add colors. Remember that the underlayer is going to melt, and that's okay. You can also coat these with polyurethane or any kind of sealant spray, and that will kind of protect the finish. Though honestly, because it's wax, it does hold up pretty well. But you want to make sure that whatever you use is going to adhere to a wax or oil paint. You don't want to use something meant for acrylic or water-based because it's not going to adhere to the wax. So make sure that whatever you're using is meant to go over an oil-based stain or something like that so that you are sealing your rocks in really nicely. So that is how you do melted crayon kindness rocks. It's a lot of fun. Get out those old broken crayons and experiment and create new mosaics and good things like that. Every rock is going to be different. And that's kind of the fun of it. You really don't know until you're actually doing it what kind of results you're going to get. And it's really exciting that way. Like I said, this is the make something rock that I did, which is still hot, if you can see that. And it looks like my green screen is still working a little bit. So that one you could just pop in the oven and let it sit there until all the colors melt. If you're doing a lot at once, or if you're working with kids and you don't want them holding the heat gun. So that's our project for today. Thank you so much for stopping by for Maker Monday on Wednesday. I promise I won't get sick again. At least I'll do my best. I will see you again on Friday for Friday STEAM at 4 p.m. and then at 5 p.m. for tool time. So I hope that you come on back for some more fun projects and more learning with our Warren County Library System and our Makerspace. Right now we're online. We can't be together in a Makerspace, but we still have a lot of fun coming your way. And of course we have story times, animal events, magic, yoga, all my fun STEAM stuff, and much more. We also have our summer reading program online. There is still time to get involved in summer reading and earn some badges and earn some prizes. So go on over to warrenlib.org, take a look at what we're offering, and please be part of this wacky summer online. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep making. I'll see you soon. Bye.